Remove first n lines from an active log file. Is there a way to remove the first n lines from a log that is being actively appended by an application?
I think this task can be achieved with sed. Would remove the lines from first to the 10th line form the file. I think everybody should at least have a look at this sed one-liners. Note that this does not work for log files that are being actively appended to by an application, as stated in the question. Sed I will create a new file and delete the file that is being written to. Most applications will continue to write log records to the deleted log file and will continue to fill disk space. The new, truncated, log file will not be appended to. This will only cease when the application is restarted or is otherwise signaled to close and reopen its log files. At which point there will be a gap, missing log records, in the new log file if there has been any logical activity between the use of sed and the application restart. A safe way to do this would be to halt the application, use sed to truncate the log, then restart the application. This approach can be unacceptable for some services, for example a web server with high throughput and high service continuity requirements.
No, operating systems like Linux, and its file systems, don't make provision for removing data from the start of a file. In other words, the start point of storage for a file is fixed. Removing lines from the start of a file is usually accomplished by writing the remaining data to a new file and deleting the old. If a program has the old file open for writing, that file's deletion is postponed until the application closes the file. As commenters noted, for the reasons given in my previous sentence, you usually need to coordinate log file pruning with the programs that are writing the logs. Exactly how you do this depends on the programs. Some programs will close and reopen their log files when you send them a signal, for example hub, and this can be used to prevent log records being written to a deleted log file, without disrupting service. There are many utilities available for managing the size of log files, for example logrotate. Some programs have their own utilities. For example, the Apache web server includes a rotate-a-logs utility.
This is an answer, not a solution. There is no solution to the question.
The asker clearly states, from a log that is being actively appended by an application.
You can read on to understand more, and skip to the end for a suggestion I make based on my presumption why this code isn't following logging best practices. To be clear, other answers here offer the false promise. No amount of renaming will trick the application into using the new file. The most useful information is buried in the comments made to these incorrect answers. Active files are not some kind of container you simply put data into.
A file name points to one inode, start of the file, and every inode has a pointer to another inode, if there is more data. That means a continually written to file has a constant stream of inodes being added to it, and what you think of a file is actually a log sequence of inodes. Imagine you were tracking someone on Google Maps, and that person could teleport anywhere in the world, at any time, and you were trying to connect these dots. The Linux tool truncate can discard data at the end of the file, by simply walking the inode tree and, at the location/size you designate, it will discard all subsequent pointers in the stack. To do the reverse, discard data at the start of the file, would be a such horribly complex and risky process of rewriting the inode tree in real time that nobody will write such tools for the public, because they would often fail and lead to data loss. The inodes wiki is short but explains some of these concepts.
Back to your problem. This is probably an internal application, else someone would already have contributed a patch to fix. Flag this behavior for code review because this isn't following logging best practices. Explore possible impacts.
Are you desperately trying to prevent an outage due to disk full? That should be a scenario documented somewhere in review, as a risk.
No. A solution to this generic problem of log file growth is log rotation. This involves the regular, nightly or weekly, typically, moving of an existing log file to some other file name and starting fresh with an empty log file. After a period, the old log files get thrown away. See this URL.
I like the simple solution below. As in a log, I cannot predict how many first lines I will remove. I keep the last n. Put both lines above in a cron job, and you have something like a log rotation. Explanation of each part of the commands. Echo string is greater than will overwrite the entire file, and add the word string at the end of the file. Echo string will just add the word string at the end of the file. Echo the E option enables the interpretation of / escapes. Echo $command will return the output of the command to the file. Tail -1000 / /log / messages, return the last 1000 lines from / log / messages file.
Beckon,